Andy Katz here for the Big Ten Network with an offseason chat with Matt Painter from Purdue. And Matt, first off, played for the national championship in early April. Zach Edey entering the NBA draft. When you look at his prospects, where do you see him? Hopefully, somewhere high in that first round.
Yeah, he's really done a good job. He's really improved his stock, and each year he's just made improvements. There's a lot of things that go into stereotypically when you deal with someone who's 7'4", 300 pounds, like his ball screen defense, his ability to rebound, and he just kept making progress in those areas. He's made progress in changing ends, but very competitive, hardworking guy. Obviously, you can look at mock drafts and look at a lot of different intel that you get, but I think it's just going to be the right fit. The people that have a role for him or want to develop him into a role. But I think he's going to be a really good player in the NBA. He's really improved and put himself in a better position.
I remember you told me and others when we've done your games in the past that if you draft him, you got to use him. He's not someone that just sits at the end of the bench. Why is that?
Well, I think if he's somebody you got to throw the ball to more than anything, because now that raises his value, but it's also who's he on the floor with. If you have superstars that are out there, he's just simply not going to get the basketball because they're going to get it, and rightfully so. I think it's that unit, especially the unit off the bench, to where you can utilize him, you can get the basketball. The thing about him is that he can get really deep position. He's great in ball screens to where he dives and makes plays, out of those ball screens, but he gets those guys off of him more than anything. I think anytime you just kind of saddle up to him and he doesn't move, it makes it easier on the defense. But when he's moving around, then he's diving, he causes a lot of problems.
All right, so I'm not going to say who's going to replace him because he's a two-time player of the year.
Right.
My question is, who will get or which players will get those minutes?
Yeah, well, we obviously returned Trey Kaufman-Renn and Caleb First, and both those guys have a wealth of experience and been in our program now going on 4 years. Will Berg will now be going into our program for 3 years. He's not played much. He was hurt his first year. Really kind of took the wind out of his sail when Zach came back. Like he just wasn't in a position numbers-wise to play at that time. But at 7'2", 250, he's really improved. He's really worked on his game. We have 2 incoming guys, and Daniel Jacobson and Raleigh Burgess at 7'3" and 6'11". So we got 7'2", 7'3", and 6'11" right there. So we normally keep, some guys, ready to roll on that front line. But I'm excited about all of them, to be frank with you. We could play smaller and move some people into that forward position. I think Cam Edey really showed that versatility to be able to play both and guard both. And he can play a lot of different places out there. So, we're excited about it. All those guys I mentioned, I think they're all going to be good players, but always the question with young guys is when is that going to happen? I think the development for bigs is always a little bit different. So you got to be patient. But then again, they got an opportunity to be able to come in and play right away.
By the way, Cam Edey might have had one of the most athletic dunks in the entire NCAA tournament, and he's coming back, plus Miles Colvin, and of course the backcourt. Now in year 3, they Lawyer and Smith made a jump from freshman to sophomore. What's that jump going to look like to junior year?
Yeah, well, Braden has the ball in his hands a lot. So I think that will continue. Fletcher will get more of an opportunity, right? We run some stuff for him, but it always wasn't consistent just because of the load that Zach and Braden would carry and the usage that they would have. But, Fletcher really made a huge jump. One of the most improved guys from a percentage standpoint from 3 last year, ended up shooting 44% from 3. Braden shot around 40 also. So like both of those guys have been great for us, and just trying to make the same improvements, right? From your freshman to your sophomore year, now from your sophomore to your junior year, and really just keep improving physically and just get better at what you do.
You lost you guys in the portal, but they were done. They graduated in Ethan Morton and Mason Gillis. You're not in the portal. Last year, you got a key piece in Lance Jones from Southern Illinois, helps you get to the championship game. Again, not going to say who's replacing him, but who potentially could get those minutes, and it may be some of the names we just mentioned.
Right. Obviously you mentioned Miles Colvin and Cam Edey, and both guys got experience this year. We played Fletch more at the 3 Last year he played kind of more of the two there. It really doesn't matter. From there, we have some young guys. Jakari Harris from Atlanta is a two-way player that can really help us. CJ Cox, combo guard, kind of a two-way player, can really help in that regard. So we have a bigger guard, Jack Benner, at 6'5", 6'6", kind of plays everywhere, kind of a 1-2-3 type guy that can really score the basketball, pass the basketball, knows how to play. So when you kind of look at where we are, then we have a guy that's named Cannon Catchings, who's at 6'8", 6'9", just keeps growing. Hell, he might be 6'10" now, but very, very talented. Got to find some minutes for him, out there, just because he can put the ball in the basket. He's very athletic, could be an elite defender. So, we're excited about them. We're excited about all of our guys. And so I think from our standpoint is just trying to organically get it figured out in June and July and August and September, going into the season.
And last thing, non-conference, Texas A&M in Indianapolis. You got a tournament in San Diego with Cal in Arkansas, Notre Dame, your good friend Micah Shrewsbury, obviously worked for you, and BYU. They got a new head coach, Kevin Young from the Suns. So that's in San Diego. And then you have 18 teams in the Big Ten next season, adding UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington. What are your thoughts on what the schedule, and we don't know how the Big Ten's going to all shake it out yet, but still what it will look like for you guys next season?
Yeah, we're supposed to be getting the 1 and 2 place here today, I think. So kind of figuring that out, kind of looking at that. But then, we're all, trying to figure out kind of the landscape of our travel, right? And just kind of see how everything's going to play out. It's going to be harder for the West Coast schools. They're going to come east way more than the Midwest schools are going to go east or go west and things of that nature. So just trying to get it figured out and trying to look at that schedule when it does come out. It's one of those, you're asking me a question to something that I haven't lived through yet, right? And so, but we're excited. Obviously we've competed against some of those, those programs in the West. We're excited about them being in the Big Ten and just kind of keep growing our league.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.